To aid the capability of the game design, I'm going to see if I can turn this egg into a 3D model using only AI. Now I know I'm going to need something like a 3D modeler, so I'm just downloading Blender. I have used Blender before, so I'm going to do my best to remember how to use it. And as you can see, I have taken the images from the eBay listing. So I've taken what I believe to be the front of the egg, the side, which I will most probably duplex, mirror that on the left and right, and then this to be the back of the egg. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of research and come back to the video. I want to know what programs to use. Essentially, this is how to do a 3D model for free, so that you guys out there can do the same or a similar task. So I'll be right back. So stick around, because as you can see, I have taken what is a 2D picture effectively, and I've then gone into Blender, and this is the net result. So I've got some shading. I didn't get round to doing the back and sides, so essentially this is a mirror image, so the 2000 is backwards. But essentially I will show you what to do in this video. So just for the purpose of the video, I've actually deleted the images that I used, but these are the base images that I started with, and other than the Blender version that I've just created, we are going to use this as the front of the image. So as suggested, we went over to photopea, or photopea. That's the front image. And all I really want to do is just make this look better. The colours are slightly flat. So I'm going to go to image and adjustments and down to shadows and highlights. Okay, and I just want to pull in the right tones and the right colours. So let's deepen the tones. Okay, highlights, let's bring that up. Is that making a difference? Yes, very slightly. Tones, I want to leave those tones down on the highlights. Radius doesn't seem to be making a difference. And then the colour enhance, look at that, it just pops out those colours. Really brings out that kind of bronze effect from that colour. So there we go, and then file and save. So I have been working on a few more textures, but here is the egg, and I'm now going to move that into ShaderMap. So I've downloaded ShaderMap as the app, and I'm just going to press on this plus sign here, choose the egg, and you'll see that it splits it into 5 different images. And the one we really want to kind of help with the 3D modeling, so click on this purple disperse here, and on the top right hand side, if you just click and drag the displacement over your image, and you'll see the difference. You see that pop? So now you've got the indentation. So as I said earlier, the darker parts will get sucked into the image and the lighter parts get pressed out. Now on the left hand side you have this high detail tab, so you just want to drag that to the highest point possible, and this will really help when we move this image over into Blender. Very short piece on ShaderMap. You can go and buy more subscriptions, but the free version I'm using, I have used this maybe 8 or 9 times, and I've got no watermarks. It's not asking me to pay for anything, so I'm quite happy using this program at the moment. Now you will see me use more eggs later. I'll do a fast version. I'll do the tutorial, and then I'll actually go and create some more eggs, and speed up the video, put some music on, and you can really see how this plays out. So for now we're just going to press save. Now there are 2 saves. Don't press save up here because it will just save the image. You want to choose the all, so save all maps, and it will create 5 different images here. So click save on all, and now we're going to head over to Blender. Now, the main purpose of this video is not to show people how great I am at Blender, because I'm not. So this is for beginners. It's a tutorial just to show you how 3D modeling works, but also because I'm building a game, I'm showing people that I know nothing really. So I'm taking on tutorials myself and learning how to build the game using mostly AI and tutorials and the internet videos and so forth. So I'm learning. I basically have to go away and learn how to use Blender. So I'm pressing down the mouse wheel to move around. If you click left, that does nothing. Right mouse key, it gives you options. So some people would be frustrated that they can't move the screen around. So I've had to go and learn, okay, you press the mouse button down, okay. So yeah, sure, very, very novice. Then yes, the way to move around the screen is to press the mouse wheel down and then move around. You've got your y-axis and everything here. You press Y, you got the top view, sorry, Z, top view, Y. Yeah, so it takes you around different views of the map. So now if I press the mouse wheel, you can see what angle we're at. Okay, so yeah, that's just basic kind of movement, if you like. So if you click on the cube and press the delete key, again, I'm sure there are other shortcuts for how to use this, but for now we are going to add at the top, go to mesh and choose UV sphere. Now at the bottom left hand side this menu appears. I'm going to click the arrow, and it's divided into all these segments, so it looks like a golf ball at the moment. We're going to change the segments to 8, so you want a low poly on this for it to work properly, for it to work more efficiently. And the rings, so I think these are the rings here, so you change that to 4 and tab out, it changes it to 4. So actually the rings were the other way. So now you're having to look at this. Looks less like a golf ball anyway. So if you right click and smooth the edges, it gives you this really nice spherical segment. So on the top right hand side you have the wireframe. It shows you all the different segments again, and then the next stage is the viewport, and the one after that is shading. You want to click on shading. So now, like I say, you're navigating around, you're on the shade. So if you click on Z now, or Z, you get this option. So it's basically the bird's eye view of the sphere. Top left hand side, we are in object mode at the moment. We want to change that to edit mode. And there's another little button here called face. You want to click on face, and then click and drag over half of the sphere and press X on the keyboard, and then just nominate faces. You want to do that twice. You get the top edge and then you get the lower edge. Click on faces, so now you're left with half a sphere. And later on we will mirror this to the other side. So essentially this egg here, we're actually just going to use this one image, but it will mirror it on both sides of this egg for us. We're going to head up to the top left again and go back into object mode, and I'm just going to move the screen around so you can see. I still have the shading selected, and we're going to tick this what looks like a sphere again with this materials button on the right hand panel. So we click on that and then new, and it will give this top option here called the base color, and this is where we're going to add the texture. So we click on that and then image texture, Now the way to, so I did click off and back on, but the way to see the textured image is to click on this shader view. So I've pulled in the image, and obviously you can't see it right now, but if you click back on the shading viewport, now you can start to see that the image has been laid across. The next stage is we click on UV editing, and you can see it's disappeared again, but we will need to click the viewport shading. And there you go. I'm just gonna try highlight the whole egg. It's just missing a little bit there. So I've hit number 1 on the keypad, and it's just it's highlighted everything for me. Now the next stage is, so this is basically the view image. So each one of these triangles and segments is part of the image that's been reflected in these. So you can see I've got half a poly egg or half a poly sphere. So each one of these segments in the image is each one of these segments on the UV side. You want to drag and highlight over all of these segments, go to UV at the top, unwrap and unwrap again. So now that you can see it says 2000 there, it says 2000 here, I'm just going to click on the rotate and just straighten that up slightly, and I kind of want to bring that up to the center, so it's most of the egg as possible at the top and the bottom, and then I want to bring some of that in as well. So let's just click on this, there we go. And you don't want any of these edges on the outside of the egg, so we just click and drag, and you want them on the inside of the egg. And I just want this one to come up slightly. Let's have a look how this is looking. Okay, probably want all of that over to the left slightly. No, alright, I'm happy with that. Let's just pull some of these up. Obviously I'm checking the left image as well at the same time. So highlight over this, pull that in, oh no. So just pull that in, that's it. Obviously the more time you spend on this, the more time you'll have to tweak, but for the purpose of this video I just want to keep it minimal, so let's just bring that down slightly. Perfect. All right. Okay. I'm fairly happy with that. Okay. So just scrolling around, just to let you know, on the top right here, there's this hand. You can move the image up and down. Ooh. And across. I don't know what happened there. Just panicked for a second and it disappeared. So yeah, I'm happy with that. If you want to have a look at what this looks like in a world environment, so we'll have a look at the shading tab. So now you can freely move around. Like I say, you've got this hand to bring up the image. We need to mirror this, as I said earlier in the video, so we will get the 2000 backwards, unfortunately, on this side, but it is just to show you how quick and easy it is to model an egg. So we click on this spanner on the right hand side of the modifiers and click on add modifier. We want to mirror, but we don't want to mirror the x-axis, we want to mirror the y-axis. So we're going to switch the, see it's backwards there, look. You want to switch the y-axis on, and now we look around and we've got a perfect spherical image. And then just to enforce that, there's a little drop down, so you've got mirror, a few icons, a camera, just this little drop down, and apply. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the screen, just highlight some of it and then press 1, you should get all of the egg. Then we go to object edit mode, and we just kind of want to bring some of that egg up. So I'm going to click on these parts here and just click on the peak. So there are other ways to do this and better ways, I'm sure. Just going to press Control and T. No, triangle faces, no. Oh, there we go. It's just that little arrow bar there. So I'm just going to click on this to move everything up slightly. Just select the top one just to bring it up. Bring these down slightly. So nothing too crazy. This is just adding a little bit of shape all the way around. I'm happy with that. It's not exactly egg shaped, but as long as the top is longer than the base, I think it does actually work. This will be perfect. So yeah, just have a little tweak of that until you are happy. So we're just going to change the edit mode into object mode. When we put the next modifier on, you should start to see that this is more egg shaped. So add modifier, subdivision surface. There we go, slightly more egg shaped. Now, levels of the viewport, if we put this on wireframe, you'll see what happens. You'll click. There you go. It's actually more rounded off, that's quite nice. Back into shading. The render, just update that a bit. Keep that on number 3, I think number 3 is nice. One thing to do is actually to untick this box so that when you do click on the wireframe, you can see. Yeah, that's almost too much. Let's just drop that down to 5. That's nice. So you can see then the under part. So if we lower the wireframe, yeah, down to 1. As we increase it, we get a lot more polys coming back into the image. So yeah, just click back on shading. I'm happy with that. Obviously all of these connectors down here has a part to play in the disbursement, which is what I'll take you through next. So yeah, back over to the spanner. If you want to click on add modifier, it's actually displace, not disperse. So click on displace and you see everything pop a little bit there. On the right hand panel, you want to click on new and you see your image change shape, and you've got this little slider panel on the right hand side, so it says texture. If you want to click on that and then open, we're going to add the displace. So back to Faberge Egg. Now you remember what we did in ShaderMap, where we added the textures, and you want the one that says disp right here. Boom. Now obviously it looks a little bit obscure. Now you've got this colour space down here. I just want you to change that. So it says sRGB at the moment. You want to change that to linear aces. Okay. And this, we have a crazy walnut pattern right here. So we head over to the spanner again, just click on that and we look for coordinates. It says local at the moment. You want to change that to UV. Now it will change, but slightly more in line with the shape. And then you've got this strength here. So what you want to do is click, but hold the mouse button down and just reduce the size of the displace. So I do want the detail in there. So now that's looking nice. Let me just change it slightly. I want more definition in there. There you go. We can smooth all these out in sculpting later, but no, I think that is how I want it to look. Just the mid-level, yeah, push the mid-level. Yeah, mid-level, I think mid-level was about fine. Let's have it at 0.38, I'm happy with that. So let's just see what this looks like on 0.25. 0.25 tab. And the mid-level you want really low down. That's better. Let's bring that up slightly. I want more depth in there. Okay. Yep, that's fine, that's fine. So I'm just going to, if you remember these drop downs, if you go to subdivision and the drop down, just to apply that, and then the displace and the drop down to apply that. Now you can really see what's going on in sculpting if we can kind of blend out these harsher edges and actually give this a bit more depth. So I'm just going to click on sculpting. There we go. If we zoom in, again using the mouse button to move around, should be able to blend these out. And if I press Control, I should be able to smooth this down. So pressing Control and then left on the mouse button, just to push those back in slightly, and then same here, just to smooth that out. Now you can mirror this so that it's the same on both sides, but I actually like you know, using the obscurity on both sides. I don't like it always to be mirrored, so let's just pull some of that out around the edges. There we go, and then push those back in. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna play around with this for a moment. I might speed this up, I might not. Really make that pop. Okay, so I am fairly happy with that, so I'm just going to pop that back to shading mode and just see what that's done. There we go, look at this. So if we remember what the original image looked like, this was this here. Let me, they are on extra large already, so this was the image, and it's really starting to change. Really looking 3D right now. Okay, on to the next bit. So we did split this up earlier today, so we've got all of this mapping down here, and we're going to actually add the normal map to the image. So we're going to click on Add, Texture, and then Image Texture. We just drop that there, open up the image, and we want our normal map. So this one here, Norm, and Open Image. And essentially we will be plugging these in to the principles and material output and the original PNG. We just want to drop this colour space down to non-colour, so there's no adverse effect, because it's information about the surface, not necessarily the actual texture itself. And then we just want to add a vector to this, so we can start plugging things in. And then we want to tap the colour into the vector. And this, the navigation of this as well, I'm still pressing down the wheel mouse to move around. If I scroll up and down, it zooms in and out. If I press down on the wheel mouse, you can move around. So I'm just going to plug this normal vector into the normal principle. And then we're going to remove or reduce the roughness quite dramatically. And you can see now, if I increase the roughness, it's quite matte. If I reduce the roughness, we go completely shiny. And then I want to bring that colour down into roughness. Look at this, we get this nice sheen. It's almost like a gloss colour. So now it almost looks like a glass egg, which is kind of what I'm going for. So it looks like it's in a real world situation. Okay, and I do want to add like a floor to this, but I'm not going to texture this for the video because it's going to make the video quite long. So I'm going to go to add mesh plane, and similarly to when we added the sphere, you get these options. I'm just going to click on Z, just move that down, and then you can make the size bigger, so click and drag. There we go, go quite big on this actually, and then move that around. So I'm just going to click out of there. There, that's it, I like that. So I'm just going to bring down some of this world lightness. So you see when we click on shading, we get this background, and it adds kind of the light reflects onto the egg. So we're just going to bring this drop down there, and bring the world opacity down. So it just makes the egg look a bit more. Take some of the blur out, because I like the fact that it's in a scene. Yep, I like the fact that it's in a scene. Just going to add the scene lights as well. Really does make that pop. Make sure that's ticked on. Okay. So back to the plane. If you just want to make sure it is selected on the top there, we want this little toolbar to show on the left here, on the left of the right hand panel. If you tick the ambient occlusion and then bloom, the bloom's a little bit too high, so when you click on the intensity, you bring that down quite away. Okay, that's nice. Bring that radius down a little bit. You see when you pop out, you see on the outside of the plane here it does start glowing, but if I bring that down so it just kind of dips, that's nice. So just while you've got plane selected, if you click on this move arrow, if you think it's a little bit too high, you can just move it around. I think that was a little bit too high. So pop it there. And back to the right hand side panel, just going to put the screen space reflections on. You can see now that you get the reflection of the plane, then the light bouncing back up onto the egg. So if you look from underneath the egg, there's no reflection, but as you see the white there just bouncing off and giving those shades. Nice. So I am going to test something. I think we're quite close. I mean, if you zoom in, you can look at the detail on the egg. It's all 3D. It looks like you could go to a souvenir shop and pick this up off the shelf and give it to a family or friends. If you go to a resort somewhere, it looks quite nice. Considering it was a metal bronze image on the left hand side down at the bottom there, and we've turned it into what now looks like a glass egg. We've still got the face detail in there, like they're holding the emblem. It's quite nice. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can add a spotlight to this, if I need one. So if I click Shift and A and go down to light, we want spotlight, and then we're going to start moving this around. Until we get a spotlight on the front of the egg. Just move it around this way. See the light pop in.
Spotlight, maybe. Let's rotate this into position. Going to maybe give it a cooler color.
And then just to get that light, so I think it's in the right position, click on the light bulb down here and just change the power of that light bulb. Just going to click, if I'm going to put 6,000 there, so now we have that light bouncing off the egg. When you click on the sunlight, you can see yeah, it really does give you some different perspective. I'm just going to move that out slightly. There, now we've got some definite light bouncing off.
Something like that.
And you can change the colour of this as well. So if I go almost like sunlight, do it to yellow, or should we go for like a bluey colour? Yeah. Actually, green might go well, actually, thinking about it. So there is my egg, so you can see all of that light reflecting off. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first step into 3D modelling. I don't think it's a bad job at all. Obviously the longer you spend on this, the better it will look. If you like this video, obviously press like below. Keep following the game ideas. I want to create an orc eventually. So I'm just going to go on now and create another egg, maybe another 2, speed up the video, but please press like and enjoy the rest of this video. Bye bye.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my seat. Know that they ride or die.